What's up ninjas, welcome to Yoga with Dojo Cat. I'm Kat. I'm a brown belt and coach in Bang Muay Thai, a blue belt in Infight Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm certified to teach yoga. So today we're going to do, I'm kind of doing a core kind of strength series right now. So because I'm teaching a core flow in my class this week, so I'm splitting it up for this video here. Yeah, so we're gonna do some balancing stuff, some warriors, and some wild things, which are a lot of fun. So let's just get into it. So we'll begin in child's pose. Knees nice and wide, big toes touching, melting your hips towards your heels, resting your forehead on the mat, getting a nice stretch to open up your shoulders and your hips at the same time. And we'll just take some nice deep breaths into the belly, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Really use those breaths to expand your belly, just warming up the core. You can lift up and then roll all the way down onto your belly. So you'll have to bring your knees in together. And you can just stack your elbows underneath your shoulders. If you guys have been watching my videos, you'll know that by now I love Baby Cobra. I think it's a great way to just get a little gentle movement, warming up the spine. So inhaling in the center and exhaling to twist over, looking over your left shoulder. One more cycle. And you can come back to center. We'll just come off our elbows and bring our hands down to our sides. You can just rest your head on the mat. We're gonna go into locust pose and we're gonna do a flow. So when you're ready, you're gonna inhale, lifting your feet and your chest off the mat and your arms as well. And then exhaling, coming back down. Inhaling to lift. And exhaling back down. And we'll just go through a few cycles of this. And one more cycle. You can plant your hands under your shoulders, curl your toes, just lift up into a plank position here. So the lower your hips are, the harder plank will be. If you struggle with plank, you can just lift your tailbone up a little bit higher. This is your practice, so just go where you're comfortable. I'm just gonna let that fire burn in our core for a couple breaths. And when you're ready, your next exhale, press back into downward facing dog. You can pedal out your feet. And when you're ready, find stillness. You're welcome to also bend your knees in this position. It just takes the tension off of your hamstrings and gives you a better stretch in your back. I'm just gonna shift forward a little bit so I have some more room for our wild thing, which we're gonna get to here. When you're ready, inhale your right leg to the sky and bend your knee. You'll get a nice stretch in your right hip. And if you like, we're gonna move into Wild Thing. You can stay right here if you want, or if you want to progress, just drop that foot down to the mat and then open your hands up and your hips up to the sky. One more breath. And you can come back, lifting that leg up, back into three-legged dog. And we'll bring that foot in between our hands. And you can lower that knee to the mat, uncurl your toes. And then inhale your hands up for low crescent lunge. So in this position, make sure you're trying really hard to tuck that tailbone underneath. If you're sticking your bum out, it's not going to give you a stretch in your hip flexors, so just tuck it under. Inhale. You should have a nice straight line from your tailbone all the way up to the crown of your head. Bring your left hand down to the mat, and then open up for a twist. From here, you can just bring that hand down to the mat for a second. Pick up your left toes and then pivot that leg so it's parallel. So this knee is now facing this direction. And then you're gonna straighten your right leg. And we'll inhale our hands up and exhale over that leg for gate pose. You're gonna feel a stretch not only in your calf, but your inner thigh and your left side. You can lift back up, pivot that left knee. Your knee is now facing the front of your mat. Curl your toes, lift back up into downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg to the sky. Exhale, bringing that foot in between your hands. Pivot your back foot. Rise up into warrior one. So in this pose, just make sure those hips are trying to face that front leg. Your knee is stacked over top of your ankles. Your shoulders are relaxed. You're tucking your tailbone under. If your shoulders are burning, if you do a lot of kickboxing, mine are always burning. You can just bring your hands to heart center if you like. And then open up into warrior two. Just gazing over top of those fingertips. You're gonna feel that fire starting to burn in your legs. Anytime you need to, you can just straighten that leg, give yourself a little mini break, and then come right back into it. You can bring your hands to heart center. From here, we're going to take a little step in with our left toes and then point our toes in the same direction. We'll inhale our hands up, keeping those legs straight, and then fold over on our exhale for pyramid pose. You can rise back up, and we're gonna go into our balancing pose here. You can just keep your hands on your hips for now. We'll ground into that right foot and then lift our left foot off the mat, dropping our fingers about 10 to 12 inches in front of our foot. If you want, you can keep your hand on your hip here, or if you want an extra challenge, as I almost fall over, you can lift your hand over your head to stack your shoulders, and we're just gonna hang out here in half moon pose for a few breaths. when you're ready, you're just gonna bring your left foot to meet your right foot. Inhale, root to rise for mountain pose. And on your exhale, swan dive into forward fold. Relaxing your neck. If you want, you can tuck your hands into your elbows and get a little swaying motion going. You can nod your head yes, or shake your head no. Or you can just relax those hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands to the mat, step back into plank. And we'll do that work on the other side. On your next exhale, press into downward facing dog. You might find that on this go around, you can bring your heels a little bit closer to the mat. As our muscles are warmed up and getting a little more flexible. I'm just gonna sidestep over a little bit here so I have room for my wild thing. When you're ready, inhale that left leg to the sky and get a nice bend in that leg. Just don't want to like wild thing right into this candle, so I'm just gonna come off my mat a little bit. And again, this is your practice, so if you don't want to do wild thing, you can stay right here. But if you're ready to do wild thing, you can just tip over until you come onto that left foot and then open up, lifting your hips to the sky. One more breath. And when you're ready, bring that foot back up into three-legged dog. And then bring that foot in between your hands. I'm just gonna adjust on my mat here. Drop your right knee, uncurl your toes, lift those hands up to the sky for a low crescent lunge. Whew, my shoulders are burning. Okay, bring your right hand to the mat, open up for a twist. You can bring that hand to the mat, pick up your right foot, pivot that foot so that your knee is facing the long side of your mat. Straighten your left leg. You know what? I'm gonna turn and face you for this one because I think I was on that side as well. Okay, so you're in this position, your left leg is straight. Inhale those hands up and exhale, folding over top of that leg so you're getting a nice stretch. And that right side, your inner thigh and your calf. You come back up, turn your knee so that it's facing the front of your mat, and then you can bring your toes to match in downward facing dog. Inhale that left leg to the sky, and as you exhale, bring it in between your hands. Bring that right foot so it's parallel, rise up for warrior one. And then bring your arms into a T position for warrior two. Bring your hands to your hips, take a little step in, make sure your toes are facing the same direction. You can straighten that front leg, inhale your hands up, and exhale, fold over your left leg. You can rise up. We're going to go into half moon on our left side. So just look 10 to 12 inches in front of your foot, ground into your left foot, press off that right foot, drop those fingertips to the mat, lift your right leg so it's parallel. And again, you can keep your hand on your hips, or if you like an extra challenge, stack your shoulders. One more big breath. And on your exhale, you can just bring your toes to match. Inhale, root to rise, mountain pose. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. From here, you're just gonna lower yourself all the way down. Come onto your bum here. And we're gonna go into a boat pose. So a couple options for you here. You can keep your hands behind your knees and just lean back until you feel your core engage. If you want a little more of a challenge, you can pick your legs up and keep them parallel. And if you like, you can release the back of your thigh. And if you want a little extra challenge, straighten those legs. And you can sit forward. Nice job. One more pose before we go into our cool down. We're gonna do a reverse tabletop. So we're gonna take our hands and just place them so that our fingers are facing directly backwards. And you can bring your heels up close to your bum. And from here, you're just gonna lift your hips to the sky. Let your head relax back. You're gonna feel this in your shoulders and your forearms. If this is too intense on your shoulders, you can just bring your hands so that their fingers are facing the same direction as your toes. It just all depends on how tight your shoulders are and what you need. And lower your hips back down. Nice work. Straighten your legs out in front of you. Inhale those hands up and exhale, hinging at the hips for forward fold. From here, we're gonna go into pigeon, so you can just put your hands on the mat behind you, bend your right leg so it's parallel, and then just sit up, straighten your left leg. So the closer that your heel is to your groin, the easier this pose is gonna be. On your next exhale, come down to your elbows, or you can rest on your forehead if you like. When you're ready, we'll rise back up, sit back on our bum, and we're just going to straighten our legs out in front of us. Just get a little motion here, and we'll go to the other side. So bending your knees so that your left leg is parallel, straightening your right leg out behind you, and then lifting up into pigeon. You're gonna notice that one side is gonna be different than the other. For me, this is my tight hip, so I can't get this leg very parallel. My goal is to get it parallel, but it's just something I'm working on. And on your next exhale, coming down to your elbows or your forehead. And when you're ready, you can come back up. We'll just straighten those legs out and just get some motion in that leg one more time. That position can be really uncomfortable if you hold it for a while. And then we'll come into our final pose, opening your knees nice and wide and melting down into child's pose. And when you're ready, you can just come and sit in easy pose or on your knees, whatever's more comfortable for you. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really working on building this channel, so it would help me out so much if you could like and subscribe, and that just helps me push my videos out. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's my goal. And I can't believe that all the progress that I've made already with this channel. It's only been a month, and I feel like I already have so many subscribers, and that, I mean, it's like in the 80s right now, but it feels like a lot. It feels like a lot to me, but I'm hoping to grow that even more. So come on in, join the dojo. It's fun here. Okay, thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Os.